What's up everybody? How are you guys doing today? We have a really nice match today for you, and it is SK Gaming versus Team Acer. And this is the best of 5 series that they played in the bronze match of the HCL Playoffs. So after months of playing, the teams finally reached the playoffs, and in the semi-final both of the teams that we are seeing here have lost to their opponents, to El Nexo and to 3Max, aka Gamers2. They just changed organizations recently. And this is the match between Acer and SK, trying to aim for the third spot here, of course. And this game could be, go either way. At this point, really, Acer having a few troubles with their lineup recently, but getting stronger once again now that they picked up another player. We're having also at the same time with SK Gaming a lineup that they played in the past. So thanks to the HCL rules, we're seeing kind of an old school SK Gaming playing here. And Dragon Shire is the first map. So the first map is of course going to dictate the pace for both of the teams a bit, and we're going to try and find out who's going to take the lead here, who will play from behind. So let's jump into map number 1, Dragon Shire, here in the best of 5 series between Acer and SK Gaming at the HCL. Welcome to the HCL, ladies and gentlemen. The first map in the best of 5 between Team Acer and SK Gaming is Dragon Shire. And in the bronze match here on the first map, we're having to the left side the blue team, green out for Team Acer. On Chen we have Exxon on ETC, Holo is playing Sergeant Hammer, Saifu is playing Tassadai, and Vainless is playing Uther, former Team Dignitas player. Starting to the right side of the map, we're having Bakery on Vala, we have BZ on Zebo, BKB on Stitches, Linked on Brightwing, and Zamoni on Tyrande for SK Gaming. So let's get this game and this show on the road. First game of the day, let's see who's going to take it here. SK, they've played a pretty nice season, but then last week they lost in the semifinals. And of course before we're having our final later on between El Nexo and their opponents. Oh, the hook attempt against Saifu. Barely dodging that wall of zombies there. Yeah, El Nexo is going up against 3D Max later on, and that is going to be the last time that the El Nexo lineup is going to play in their current team composition, since 2 of the players are going to leave the team and will be replaced. Right now we're having the entire SK roster going for that 4-man switch between the mid and the bot lane, which we oftentimes see on Dragon Shire. We're having green out up at the top against Link. And Acer in general with a very tanky lineup here, going not only for ETC but then also Chen, having Uther and Tassadar. The damage in this composition is mainly coming from Holo on his Sergeant Hammer, and of course also from Cypher with Storm and then Archon later on. But it's one of those lineups where you are extremely tanky, but you really need to be careful that you have good shot calling and that you focus the same target, because damage is to a certain extent lacking for the team. But you can, with Tassadar, still make that work, especially if you're having a hero like Sergeant Hammer in your mix. On the other hand, when we're looking at the lineup for SK Gaming, it's a bit of a different story. We're currently looking at Stitches that can combo very well with the Tyrande stun if they do that properly. And Tyrande is actually going for the level 1 talent where she can pierce with the owl and hit more than one target, which is great, especially if you want to interrupt some heroes on the shrine and want to make sure that there's no Dragonite taken by your opponent. So that's one of the things that the owl is going to be used for later on. But what's going to be also important with that is that Zamoni will take level 16 also for the Ranger trade. Missing that owl so far, but oh, BKB in a bit of trouble at the bot lane. It's a 3 versus 3. And the... oh, what a nice hook against Vainless, and he gets taken out. Not even Holo can help here. Bakery needed to move back at the top lane. We're being Linked and green out going up against each other, trying to just like dominate that top shrine. And so far in the mid lane, Zamoni is just doing his thing, is making sure that Exxon is not getting too far here. We're having Swift Reflexes taken and Block, the 2 talents and Stitches sharing an icon, but doing very different things. So that's one of those things that Blizzard is probably going to change in the future. In the recent patches they've already done that quite a lot and just like changed the icons and a couple of the graphics, and I think this is also going to happen for this one. Another talent where we will probably see the same is the heroic ability of Chen, or one of the heroic abilities. The stage dive icon is currently the same as Muradin uses for his Dwarf Toss, so that's one of those things that usually don't have that on that much. So, BKB down here, trying of course to maybe like hook another target out in the mid lane. We're having BZ this time taking over the guard duty at the Dragon Knight, level 5 versus level 5, with the multi-shot build on Vala being built by Bakery now with the double multi-shot talents taken. Stitches is going for the sustain build that now that he's single tank of his team. And besides that, just looking at the opponent's team with the Regeneration Master taken, with the Echo Pedals, with Reflexes, you can really see that this team is going to be super tanky. Uther, of course, on level 4 with a Protective Shield. That alone is already going to help to mitigate some of the right-click damage that we're going to see from heroes like Kvala. Oh, and a nice move against Holo. Very well done. Vaulting in an attempt to take down Sergeant Hammer, but Exxon was moving in, uses the face melt to push them into the tower range, or tries to at least, and Bakery is actually dying here. Bakery goes down, and he is, so to say, the first pawn that drops on the side of SK. Acer with a very nice move moving in and taking him out. And at the same time, BKB down here, Zamoni, they're taking the shrine. And you might actually like look at these lineups and say, hey, wait a second, like, why are these guys playing for SK again? And it's a special HCL rule, like they're playing with their old lineup here oftentimes. Oh my god, Zamoni and BKB with that hook and stun approach that we saw there. That was maybe a bit late. There's a level 7 talent for the two of them. Brewmaster's Balance, of course, taken on level 7. I love that it has actually like Kek as the icon. So that's pretty awesome. Ooh, nice hook against Holo. They can't really capitalize on it, but still put him into a bit of an awkward position where he had to thrust away immediately. Oh, the stun! Oh, Zamoni with a godlike stun here, and he takes him out. Exxon is moving now in as well. Bakery just vaulting in the last second before the Echo Paddle hits him. Sorry, the face melt. Another attempt to just like hook him out. And so far I have to say that SK is really starting to put on the pressure, especially at the bot lane. And that's working great for them. Top lane, it's a different picture. Greenout is actually taking the entire wall away already. Link is trying what he can, but this is just not gonna work. That little fairy dragon against the old drunk is not gonna do a thing, and Greenout just like stands in tower range. Is of course going for the shield then, and can just like simply soak that all day long and soak some of the damage in. In the mid lane we're having again Exxon and also BZ going up against each other. I love that Exxon, by the way, changed his nickname right now. You can actually see the E. I don't know why exactly he didn't use that in the last one, but yeah. At this time we're having at the bot lane Cypher, Vainless and Holo in position. Bakery, oh, apparently the hate on Chen was big enough to rotate over there with 3 heroes, and they finally got him. It also puts the heroic abilities into their grasp, and in this case we're seeing Putrid Bile. We have Blink heal taken here on the hand of Brightwing. We're having Starfall also, Ravenous Spirit. And BZ and Zamoni, well, they're already like doing their thing. They're trying to bribe the camp here, which is one of the reasons why you always want to have a bit of a heavy focus on the bot lane so that you can access those quite easily, which is exactly the case, which is what Link is doing now. BKB is moving in as well, trying to hook Hammer, but Holo already on the move back, Napalm already chosen for him, and there we have Stage Dive on ETC, not the Dwarf Toss, the cow is not that small. But yeah. So far so good with the Archon taken, Divine Storm having all of the talents already available to them, and it's the battle for level 13. But you can really see that it's just like a game where we have 3 kills against 1, where SK, Slide Lane, Experience Lead. Stitches is starting to take over the top lane, and down in the middle BZ and Linked are still there and trying to at least take one of the towers down. And once they get the structures, I think they're going to be in a really good spot. Already an attempt to take the Dragon Eye, but that was a bit too late, especially since Green now jumps in. Exxon is here now too. And they're really trying to put pressure onto Nazebo, the Witch Doctor in trouble, but moves back. And an attempted stun by Zamoni, not hitting in this case. Bakery at the bot lane. It kind of feels like a bit like Acer has an additional man on the map, doesn't it? Like everywhere you look, there's just like a surplus of Acer players going up against the guys from SK. And they're just losing a lot of structures here. But they're still in a really good position when it comes to overall experience, and that works well for them. As you can see, 12 versus 12 talents right now. Bakery, oh, Zamoni actually stunned out in the last second. Needs to be careful here. ETC is jumping in as well, and Zamoni goes down. That turns it into a quick 5 versus 4. And they're trying to go for Bakery now as well. Link is doing the same thing. He jumps in with his phase shift. They're putting pressure already on the fort, but at the top, Greenout needed to move back, at least for now. Still the experience lead. Well, actually, I think by now it's slightly in favor of Acer, but still, thinking about it, with all the structures that have been taken down already, it's not really a surprise. Greenout, on the other hand, is getting very low, but there is... Oh, they trap him but he can of course just jump over the zombies. One of the problems that they had is that Tyrande was still down in that case, and she is supplying the stun. There's not really a lot of lockdown if you look at the side of SK. They only have the stun from Tyrande and potentially a Stitches hook later, but Stitches went so far for a full sustain build, and oh, a bit of a problem here apparently. And I'm talking, oh my god, he pushed him into the wall of zombies, but Green out dies regardless, and they might get Vaneless too. Oh, that owl hitting a second after the protective shield was used, but Bakery is still trying to take him on, and he gets him. Very nicely done. Very, very nicely done here. Great moves on the side of SK. It's actually like pretty cool to see how they are currently rotating on the map there. But yeah, you could see in those cases... Oh, okay. For a second I really thought another one was dying, but it was only the Uther Ghost that dropped. That is putting the first Dragon Knight into the hands of SK. And even without our Aragi, their fearless leader, they're moving into the mid lane right now. Oh, Vaneless actually. Okay, drops out and immediately reconnects. Thank God that the reconnect system in this case was actually doing its thing. But yeah, one of the problems that definitely exists for SK is the lack of CC that they have. Not a lot of stun on their side, and we could see Stitches with a build where he goes for the slam later, a hybrid build, but so far with him going for a sustain build and also using Relentless, it's very unlikely. We're probably gonna see Fishing Hook taken on level 13. Regarding the rest of the talents, Tyrande on level 16 should go for the Ranger talent, but on 13 of course is Lunar Blaze. So the build that we are seeing here makes a lot of sense. It's a bit more more like focused on dealing damage as well. But Zamoni with a healing ward can still assist the team a lot. He's trying to get the stuns in, but now with Exxon moving in, oh my god, everybody is putting Tyrande into a bad spot. That cow was also like, he wanted a piece of her. That cow wanted a piece, and he got it, but it's an entire level advantage now. 15 versus 14, the level lead that we're seeing for SK Gaming. We're having the Uber Rockstar, of course, on Exxon, which allows his entire team to move faster into those fights. Up to the top lane, we're currently having Bakery starting to move in, dropping another tower there. Exxon is there to soak the experience, and of course trying to defend the structures as much as he can. Sypho is in position now as well. But yeah, as Tacitime, I mean, you have no lockdown in this case. You can maybe use a Shrink Ray, but that's already about it, and he didn't really want to sacrifice that in this case. So they don't get Vala here. It's 3 kills against 6, and still that lead for SK. They're playing just a very solid game now, rotating through the map and getting one camp after another. They can go to the bot lane and take that Bruiser camp there too. Should be able to get that with 4 people already rotating over there, and that's exactly what we're going to see next. We have the Siege Giants meeting in the mid lane. But there's an additional camp already, and that's pushing pressure also on SK, and that's also going to be the case once this camp down here is taken, and they can't really do anything about it unless EGC is happy to jump in with a stage dive, and I highly doubt that, considering that there's nobody else around to help him out there if he did. Level 16 talents are also there, and with the 16 talents, well, Fishing Hook, Critterize is taken with the Ranger talent on Tyrande. There's also Blood for Blood on the multi-shot Vala with a Frost Shot at level 13, and the Specialized Toxins. A lot of pressure there by SK. They still have an elite in experience, and they are trying to run with that now. But they won't be able to take down the structures just yet, and ETC is starting to push in the top lane. He can of course go for the split push quite easily with him using his ultimate. Well, using his ultimate, I mean when he needs to jump onto the other side of the map. Level 16 gives double imposing presence to Team Acer, so they're having that already. Nice trap with the wall of zombies, really well done. And yeah, we're seeing the entire rest of the mercenary camp taken out in just a few seconds. But once again, the structures are dying on the side of the opponent's team. Over here we're having like 5 heroes rotating over, trying to maybe protect that lane a bit longer and keep the fort alive. But this is still starting to be a bit tricky, I wanted to say, and then Vaneless jumped in. Or at least did get hooked, not jumped in. That would have been a bit suicidal, but yeah, he gets away. So 6 kills against 3, and right now the game it's slowing down a bit. Like, it is all about the Dragon Knight at this point, of course, but both of the teams, as you can see, are just a bit more relaxed about that, and just trying to stay on their side of the map, saying like, getting the cow is not really what we want there. Stay on their side of the map, trying to not get too aggressive, but as I say it, they're jumping in, and we're having BZ running away with a quick sprint, ETC jumps in too, tries to get into a better position, but Beezy with a great ult over here is pushing everybody back. Might not get as much damage done as he would like to, but still is creating a lot of space for the rest of his teammate. Now we're having Exxon maybe in a bad spot there. If there's a Hunter's Mark on Zamoni, then Exxon is going to be in trouble, and yes, he's already stunned out by the Rain of Vengeance. Needs to just power slide away once more, but it looks like Bakery's going to get him. Yes, jumps in on Vala and with another multi-shot finishes the cow as B for breakfast. And we're seeing Cypher already also in a lot of trouble. Like, he needs to be careful as well, moving back as we speak. But yeah, this is getting tricky. It could be the second Dragon Knight for the red team. Would be surprising if it wasn't, even with Tasda moving in for a Storm. There's just like too many heroes to shield Tyrande, to shield Zamoni. And, well, Zamoni actually waiting a bit longer than expected, but going for it after all. Ford at the top lane is already down. The wave that was sent this way earlier took it on. We have ETC still not back. ETC is still not back. We have Green out jumping in, but that Ford here is of course going to die. That gives more experience to the red team, and SK Gaming is so far having an absolute field day here. It's a 5 versus 5 now again with the cow back on the board. But there's Zamoni moving to the bot lane and trying to finish off the last fort that they have. And yep, there we go. Stitches is hungry. Well, he could go for a burger, but instead he goes for Sipho. Does not go for the cow here. There he jumps in, trying to go for another face melt and pushing everybody away. Oh, that Rain of Vengeance. Great Rain of Vengeance. And Beezy this time gets stunned out. Finally, Green out getting exactly that barrel off or that keg off that he wanted. And it looks like they might finally get their kill here. Linked is low. Oh, the blink heal saves him. He gets away there. Beezy about to die, but it's a 4 versus 4 after that. The Dragon Knight is still alive. Green out is getting very, very low. The hook attempt against Holo is successful, and they might actually be able to get him. They might be able to get him. He got shielded. Now they are all moving back. Is there maybe another hook available in a few seconds? Maybe 1, 2. Doesn't really look like he had the chance to go for it. Oh, Zamoni with a nice stun attempt here against ETC, but that didn't work either. So now with 9 kills against 4 and level 19 versus 18, they're just moving back, trying to get into a decent position here, steal out the camp at the bot lane. And with decent position, we basically mean they're trying to just like take every single mercenary camp that's currently on the map. And if you achieve that, then you're in a great spot to just like run with your advantage there even more. So we have already the camp at the bot lane now taken. That's going to be a hard camp that's starting to push in. We have an easy camp taken, where Linked is right now, kind of not timing that too much, but still having that now in position. And with that, the bot lane is going to be under a lot of pressure. There's nothing really happening regarding the Dragon Knight just yet, but that's going to be the case very, very soon. They're already having over here another hard camp that is going to be available in just another few seconds, so they should rotate towards that too. But we have them first of all putting some pressure on the bot lane again, with BKB setting up a bit of a trap, trying to get the hook in. They were already anticipating that Stitches would be there. The top lane, that's where we have Linked, trying to push the hard camp. Bottom lane is now starting to get pushed in. The hard camp already defended against, but still that Siege Giant camp. And with the Siege Giant camp, that's where they can do a whole lot. We already have 19 versus 18, so that could be level 20 soon. And I mean, with level 20 here, I could see Vala not go for Bolt of the Storm, but go for Nexus Frenzy, to be quite frank with you, because so far there was not really all that much pressure on Vala. She died once, but it was pressure in the last game as well. They were trying to put some on her, but so far the rest of the team healed really well for her. So she has both options. She could go into the more defensive talent, and that's what we're seeing Bakery do. He goes into the Bolt of the Storm, but I still think that it would have been an option to go for damage. Be it as it may, they have the damage on the board, so it's not like they're lacking it in any case. We're having Storm Shield and Rewind now taken on Brightwing and also on Tyrande. So with that, Annihilating Spirit is being chosen here on level 20 as the additional talent. We're seeing them moving in once more. And it is now, with the Dragon Knight up on the map, it is again that battle for the shrines. Trying to just like rotate over to the opponent, win maybe a fight, get one hero to pick off, and then go straight for that. And that is the idea here, of course. Both of the shrines are currently under their control. Link might die for it though, but they're still getting the Dragon Knight. Yes, they are. Baneless just barely missed it, and suddenly he gets now hooked as well. He's trying to run away, runs straight into the wall of zombies. Oh my god, like that was a beautiful wall that we saw there by Beezy. And Brightwing, he sacrificed his life for that Dragon Knight. So SK, it's their responsibility now to make sure that it's being put to some use. Right wing died for it, so they need to make it count to honor his memory, and that's what they're trying to do. Taking down the wall already. The 20 talent with a hardened shield on Stitches is of course an amazing talent for them to have. Oh my god, like that scratched the tires of the tank. Oh, they're moving in again, but it's the rotation on the bottom. They could have tried to go for the keep here, but they rotate down to the bot lane, getting additional... that's actually like the better setup if you want to try and get a hook here. You could first of all take down that wall, that would make it a bit easier. And yeah, wall is already down. Hook attempt. Yeah, doesn't hit anything. The attempt to go straight for a wall of zombies there as well, but as you can see, without a hook target, that wall of course becoming quite useless too. And moving in against the bot fort here. 5 seconds on Uther. 5 seconds on that. And yep, there we go. We're having already the keep attacked and taken on. And there's another tower that's going to die with that as well. That they really push in for it. ETC jumping in, but Brightwing is there as well. Nice stun by Valus. Really good stun. And Zermonian and Link might die here, both of them. Green now jumping in and stunning Nazeebo. Oh, that was an important one. Cleanse already used. Great job there by Uther. He's already dead, but he's still serving his team. That's passion. That's the spirit. That's fighting spirit. Level 20 now, and that means Nexus Frenzy on the side of Sergeant Hammer. Hardened Shield on Chen. Exxon, Holo. Yeah, BKB currently still positioned there to maybe run away. I think his Devour is down. We can double check that. And yes, it is in cooldown, but it's going to be back in a few seconds, so he will survive. Oh my god, that hook against Exxon. He's getting away, but that was a monster hook that we saw right there. Level 11 versus, or sorry, 11 kills versus 7. But if you think about it, we have now 20 versus 21. And even with all that stuff that we've seen before, we're still having only one keep destroyed. That's all that they have. There's another hard camp right over here. The Bruiser camp can now be taken by a Holo, who's starting to move in against that. There it is. Renout is also jumping in and trying to claim that together with his compadre. Down to the bottom lane, another Bruiser camp. So we have one for each team, at least, if SK is starting to rotate over for that. Cypher is still here. Looking at the damage as well, that's just to give you a slight idea of what's going on so far. You can really see that Tacita is able to put out a lot of hero damage. It's not really that right-click damage, not as much as we see from Sergeant Hammer, but it's still something that helps you in those fights. And the tankiness that they've already proven to have is something that makes it difficult for SK to really take targets down. At least in a lot of these cases. But we're seeing now the rest of the team already at bot lane defending against that hard camp that was taken earlier. The Knights are taken out there. And yeah, Greenout is still there up at the front. When it comes to damage though, nothing really compares to Vala. And with Vala, it's of course one of these things that you have to be careful when you're reading the damage tab. It is a lot of multi-shot damage. Tyrande already so with 48,000, even more than Nazeebo. Nazeebo is relying a lot on his heroic abilities. That is a fact, of course. So with him, you always have to be careful that you get those off. And in the last 2 or 3 fights, especially Chen was doing a much better job. Push down at the bot lanes, trying to relieve some of the pressure from them, and also, of course, put now SK in a bad spot. And SK really needs to make sure that they win the rest of the fights here. Now, at least one big one. That bot lane pushing is, of course, a nice thing to have. And they showed that creep who's boss. Oh yeah, that minion will think twice before it makes fat jokes about Stitches. We'll think twice about that. Stitches, did you call me fat? Whoop, and there's the hook. Just like that. And the creep was gone. But yeah. Currently, BZ, Bakery, Zermonian, and BKB all at the bot lane. Only one at the top, and that's Linked. But Exxon's there for pretty much the same reason. He has with Stage Dive a global ability that allows him to just jump down to the bot lane. And yeah, Linked has, of course, the same, not the same talent, but he has the same ability in the end. 21 versus 22, the current levels for the two teams, and, well, giving you a bit of an idea of the damage output here, and also, of course, the healing numbers with 66,000 already on Brightwing. And it's like, what? 66,000? Yeah, that's pretty sick. No, that stun was nice, but it also was a bit wasted, I feel. Didn't really help here. BZ already with a nice wall of zombies. I like that a lot. Makes it more difficult for them to stun him out, but they get the stun regardless. Baneless is very low, and Vala is was just standing there and then gets dropped. That looked very much like we just did see a blood for blood kill from Vala. Exxon is also getting kind of low. BKB is still running away, but the cow is moving in. Oh, the kill attempt against Sypho, but the owl doesn't hit. Exxon is still there, gets slowed by Bakery, and oh boy, is Stitches hunting them down right now. Stitches still at the front, but there comes the blink heal. Linked is still there, could maybe use a polymorph for this. Bakery is starting to close the gap, and he is getting his hit points back up, but has to retreat since he suddenly realizes that there's a minefield and he won't be able to do anything about that. Oh, but the blink, yeah. Blink heal is such an amazing talent. I mean, not only do you get a lot of damage out there. Another minion that made fair jokes about Stitches. Another minion that was maybe a bit too forward there. So far we're having a green owl. Oh, nice stun against him. And the owl hits as well, but they don't get the kill. Bakery jumps in for a blink kill and gets it. Oh, and that hook. Yeah, that was definitely scratching ETC's backside. But yeah, as you can see, 13 kills against 8, and so far in those fights, it was a very, very close encounter there. Bakery nearly turning things around there, but you have to be super careful because you can't just drop targets way too fast. The heal on Brightwing is insane, and another thing that works for him quite well is that if you're, of course, relying on blink heal, you can also like save your own ass quite easily by just jumping to an ally and healing him. Now we have the bot lane attempt. I don't think they're gonna get... Oh, the top is the bigger problem as Sypho just moved in there. I think he used his heroic for that. Yes, he actually jumped in. Oh, and he just might die now. Oh, blink on him brings safety. Jumps back with a blink, and that kind of saved him right now. Without the blink talent, he wouldn't been able to do anything here. Now, but both of the teams go again for a shrine each. So that is working pretty well for them. Just like making sure that there is no big problem with that. There's nothing where your opponent gets the Dragonite right now, because let's be honest, 24 minutes into the game, a Dragonite is doing way too much work. And a Dragonite for SK could potentially end the game if they just move through the bot lane and go straight for the core. It is, of course, a risk that you run with an approach like this, but still, it is still something that you can pull off if we are looking at a 24-minute game. So they're trying to go for that again, but there is already a trap, and Chen is at the top lane, capturing out the top shrine. Gonna get that. Blinks are, of course, available to both of those teams. The Bolt of the Storm, a 5-man rotation into the mid lane, stunning out one of the waves, and, of course, trying to maybe get one of the targets here. Heroic abilities, we still don't see ETC with his, but it doesn't matter too much since he's with the team anyways. Maybe BKB with another hook. Could get a hook there. In the late game, these hooks, they can really decide over victory or loss. And no. Tyrande always supplying vision with the owl, but they start to move in once again. Oh, the hard camp is being taken, and they actually get it. Oh, that hook barely not hitting. BKB is really not lucky with his hooks right now. They're just always a bit too short. That hook is a bit too small. Zamoni, I'm not saying it. Zamoni, Bakery, and BKB are going for the hard camp, and we're having Linked and BZ going straight for the easy camp over here, getting the Siege Giants. They have those lanes pushing again. They have one counter push at the top, where a hard camp is starting to threaten them, but still, they get the position once more. Of course, it's still about the Dragonites. I mean, that doesn't change. The Dragonite is what the teams are really going to go for. And currently down here at the bot lane, they might get a hook this time. Well, no. BKB just doesn't get those hooks in properly. And if they get that shrine, now suddenly both of them are in the control of SK Gaming, so that could be very dicey. Here comes ETC, goes in, no power slide just yet. Oh, the Keck! The Wandering Keck is there. Goes straight for that and kicks out BKB. The tank is gone. They're trying to kill him. There's way too many heroes on. Oh my god, BZ in a perfect position. Veilness is trying to go in and stun him out, but he is dead already. ETC jumping in a bit too late. BZ still down, and so is Amoni, but Nazebo is dead. Yep, and now suddenly it's a 3 versus 3. BKB could maybe go in, but nope, he's the one who dies next, and suddenly it is Acer turning it around. It's just that tankiness that they have. They're so super, super tanky, and that wins them maybe the game here. Green out, about to drop Vala. Yes, no chance there for Vala. Or is there? I hardly doubt that. Nope, it's too late. Vala already down. Brightwing was trying to move back to the base, heal himself up, and then help out Vala, but that didn't work either. So, yeah, here we go. This is going to be the first Dragonite for Team Acer, and Acer is starting to pressure the top lane with that camp that I showed earlier. So that's another one that they have. It's going to be extremely tricky right now to really deal with this. Sypho with the 27-minute Dragonite could he should get a keep, to be honest with you. I mean, 10 seconds, 1 second, it's still going to be 3 heroes, not more than that, so they should be able to get the keep in the mid lane if they really focus keep down as much fast as they can. But that's the problem with the tankiness that we're seeing on the lineup. This late into the game, that really matters quite a lot, and they are starting to move in with that. Dragonite is already there, it's 3 heroes up, but Stitch is coming back into play, and with Sypho having to wait for the rest of the team, it's getting... I don't want to say that it's like getting unlikely that they can kill the keep, but they're definitely delaying it. And that of course opens up a few possibilities for a decent play from SK to maybe prevent that. But that Dragonite is doing so much damage. It's only 50 additional seconds though, and we're having BKB in a position to go for an hook. Doesn't miss that again. He's just always a bit too short on the hook there. Now Sypho is putting the pressure on, and the keep is about to fall. Yeah, that's just no way to save that. That Dragonite is doing way too much work, and there it is. So the first Dragonite from Team Acer, and oh, they are trying to end. Look at that, Baneless with a stun attempt here, but they are already getting attacked. Nice ult over here from the Zebo, and they kill ETC. Sypho drops out of the Dragonite. They're not going to be able to end here, not by a long shot. That's never going to happen. Nope, Green Out is about to die. Well, they should actually kill him. 18%, 17%, and only Uther Ghost is still doing work. 16%, and now they're just going to rush it at the bot lane and trying to finish the game and go for the counter. That was a pretty ballsy move by Acer, and that might snowball hard. With 40 seconds, 38 on ETC, it looks like there is absolutely enough time to go for that. Linked even stopping for a second to get that camp here with the bribe that he has been using. We're having over here, well, the shields are regenerating. It's 16% still. But yeah, this is going to be game, and not for Acer. SK is turning this around. They've been dominating for most of the match, and now suddenly there was a chance for Acer to maybe finish the game in their favor, but nope, SK defense, and they turn it around, move cross map, and take game number 1 by destroying the core. Congratulations to SK Gaming, taking the 1-0 in the best of 5 series here at the HCL Playoffs match.
What a brutal finish at the end. Acer just nearly had the game, were going for the core, seeing maybe an opportunity to take that, and they went for it. But suddenly SK comes back, wipes the entire team, and just like turns around, walks to the left side of the map, and drops the core of Acer. SK Gaming winning map number 1 in the best of 5 series here, but that was definitely an exciting finish that we saw here. Of course, that puts Acer one map behind. We're having SK Gaming now in the 1-0 lead in the best of 5 series, and the map decision is now Acer's, and they decide to go into Dragon Shire again for the second map. They really want to try it here once more to take SK Gaming down. So without further ado, we're going to jump into map number 2 at the HCL Bronze match between Team Acer and SK Gaming.
Game number 2, ladies and gentlemen, in the best of 5 series here at the bronze match at the HCL. Araragi is back from the dead. Well, not quite, but apparently there was a big accident when he was on his way home, and that delayed him. So in the first game he was subbed out. Now we're having him for SK on ETC. Bakery is playing Sergeant Hammer, BZ is playing Nazebo, Zamoni is playing Tacita, and Linked is on Uther. To the right side of the map it is Acer, currently down 1 map in the best of 5 series with Sypho on Zagara, Vaneless on Malfurion. We have Exxon on Stitches, Green Out on Chen, and Holo on Vala. Okay, so the same map again, and immediately 5-man rotation into the mid lane, and bam, the brawl is starting. Wow, there we go, going straight for that. Now let's see. We're having in this case actually, they're still fighting in the mid lane. They're still going for that. Wow. Okay, and there it is. Exxon is already there, and we're having the roots laid down by Malfurion, laying down the law here, laying down the lawn. I like that. It's a dumb joke, but hey, I like it. Malfurion is laying down the lawn again. I'm having Sypho and Vaneless, like, it's a 4-man rotation from the mid to the top, I mean, oh sorry, from the mid to the bottom and the bottom to the mid, then back again. Every 8 seconds, that's roughly when you start to rotate, and you can do quite a lot of work with that, as you can already see. Vala with a bit of an alternative build, going for the Hungering Arrow here, or the Siphoning Area, I should say, on level 1, trying to use that. And yeah, Link, BZ and Bakery at the bot lane, they are stationary so far. In the middle they parked Tacita. The comms that we're seeing this time, I really like what SK is running. For Acer, like I'm not so sure about it. We have like a very tanky comp by them again. They really like that with the double tank, double DPS. Zagara, of course, being one of the specialist heroes that does a lot of damage, and we're seeing exactly that. With that, they could actually really dominate this match. Zagara is great at pushing, especially in the early stages, but she falls off in the mid game a bit. We still have with Vala one of the best heroes for them when it comes to damage. Oh, Bakery is nearly dying there. He's just barely getting away in that second. They had the thrusters activated. In the mid lane, it's Zamoni versus Exxon. Very unlikely that Exxon is going to be able to sneak in the Dragon Knight, but of course, there's a lot of pressure now on SK, and they have to be very, very careful with that. Very careful with their movements, because just a rotation like this could put the Dragon Knight into the hands of Acer. It's a really early Dragon Knight, but still, Zamoni is already there, pushing him back, and they need to get the Shrine at the bot lane. They need to get it fast. Oh, Vainless is about to die, and they kill him, but the Dragon Knight, wow, just barely not ending up in the hands of Acer. Really well done. There's once again Sypho, and well, with level 4 versus level 4, both of them are going for the next talent on 7. We're having the Stitches build with Slam this time, going for the 1 and 2 talent with Heavy Slam and Purity Ground. Actually, pretty cool to see that. You don't see that often anymore these days. It was like the standard build for like a long time, but now that Stitches oftentimes is being played as the second tank of the team. Sorry, the solo tank of the team. You can't really do that too much. So we're having mostly sustained builds on Stitches, but in this case, with Chen also running in the same lineup, in the same team composition, you can really go for it. Aragi at the top lane is playing, in this case, ETC. We're having at the bottom a massive brawl right now. 3 versus 3 once again, and they are really playing aggressive, like both of them. The rotation from Aragi into the mid lane again, both of the shines in the hands of Acer. But still they're starting to lose a bit of ground here. Manticore taken on level 4 for Vala. So Vala with the Manticore can actually do quite a lot of damage with the right click, and that already plays in the hands of Holo getting the Nexus Frenzy talent later on level 20. With those shrines constantly under the control of Acer, there's so much pressure on SK to really hold the mid lane there. And I don't think that Tacita, that Zamoni, likes that situation too much. Not against Stitches there, gets the shield in the last second before the Devour hits. At the bot lane, we're having with level 7 now taken, Gitbin being used, we're having first aid on Bakery. And also, in this case, now Cleanse and the Static Charge. Exxon is starting to rotate down to the bottom, and our Aragi is trying to relieve the pressure from the mid lane, at least capping out the Shrine at the top. But this situation has a really nice dynamic, and it of course also comes down to Sypho being just really aggressive on that Zagara. In the early game you do so much damage with that, and especially that Hydra, that damn Hydra. I mean, that Hunter Killer, you all know exactly what I'm talking about, right? Every time you play against Zagara, isn't it as annoying as hell? Once that thing just starts moving, that thing does damage. It's crazy. So much damage. You just stand there for a second and you think like, yeah, it's a tiny Hydra. Let's ignore it. And then suddenly you're about to die and you're like, oh my god! And somebody has to save you. Usually that damn support that doesn't heal you in time, of course. There it comes again. That Hydra is just a pain. But yeah, Zagara in the early game is great, but then in the mid game she struggles a bit. Nice trap against Vainless, and he already puts down the healing ward. Still not able to capture that shrine. They're trying. They're really trying. Level 9 versus level 9. Up to the top lane. There's currently green out. And we have battle momentum now still taken by Vala. But yeah, that is just looking more and more like we're going to see Vala being played here with a build that really sent us towards Nexus Frenzy on level 20. And you see level 20s on this map in particular like quite often. 9 versus 9 the levels with a slightly experience actually for SK Gaming at this point. We're having Echo, Paddle and Guitar Hero being used on Stitches here. BZ, Link and Bakery are starting to move in again, but there's Stitches once more with a hook attempt. Exxon doesn't hit that either. Has basically the BKB disease that we saw in the last game. BKB already having so much bad luck with those hooks that he threw out. Stitches is, by the way, going on level 7 for Toxic Gas, which is the best talent if you really want to just do pure DPS. This is the talent build where you do as much DPS as you can get out there. The Sypho is still there, once again for that shrine. They hate Zagara. Link running straight into the Banelings. So many Banelings! And linked with a stun, the level 10 is there, and down goes Zagara. Very nice kill, even our Aragi jumping in. It might have been a bit overkill there with the Chancellor at the top lane, but they at this point were just like thinking, alright, we are done with this bullshit. Zagara needs to die and Nishi needs to die right now. So they went straight for it and killed Vala and Zagara out, the first or like additional 2 kills for them. We're having with Stage Dive, Napalm, Ravenous Spirit, with Archon and Divine Storm, all the talents on the side of SK. Looking to the right side for the red team, Team Acer, we're having more Tranquility, Putrid Bile, Wandering Kek of course, and for Vala, it is the Rain of Vengeance, which they're going for. It is at this point also, again, the approach for the camps. The bottom camp has already been taken, an easy camp is now taken as well. It's the Siege Giant camp, of course, with those Siege Giants starting to make their way over. Enduring Growth on level 7, just a side note on Malfurion. And, well, there comes another tower being taken out. Most of those were already out of ammunition, but now with especially Napalm and Bakery, it's pretty easy to drop a couple of structures there. And the top lane is claimed again by Acer. Green Out went for it. It's basically the 2 tanks just like dominating the top lane. And that is pretty normal that you would send one of your tanks up to the top, and in the middle you usually have either one of the supports or you go straight for one of the DPS heroes. In this case, actually at the bot lane, we have Bakery starting to really mark his territory. Nope, he's not peeing in the bushes, but instead he is starting to put it on his mines, and that makes it a bit difficult for the rest of the Acer team to really move in there. But yeah, Greeno doesn't care. I mean, he's a big fat panda, and therefore he doesn't care at all. Runs in, takes a bit of damage, and is like, wah, what was that? 13 talent faster. You can really see how 7 minutes into the game we didn't see a single Dragon Knight yet. Oh, a face melt being used by ETC. Don't see that too often. We're having Giant Killer taken on Bakery, double sprint for Nazeebo and Uther. And at this point, it's the counter push at the bot lane with Veinless moving back. Oh, the jump in! And here comes our Ragi again. Look at that stun together with the Ravenous Spirit, but the hook by Exxon countering that out. The more of death getting 2 here. But still, Link might actually fall. No, I don't think so. Exxon instead dies. Got stunned in the last second. Zamoni came in on his Archon. We have now finally the rotation from Acer as well, and Green Out is just barreling Bakery away. Yes, Bam. Where does he go? Bakery apparently resigned to his fate, but he said, I'm not gonna go down alone. I'll take Vala with me. And yeah, is able to kill her. So it's a 2 versus 1 trade in the end, and that works. And also, it's going to be a Dragon Knight. Great wall of zombies. That was a good one. Buying them a few precious seconds, and that's enough to get the Dragon Knight with our Aragi. And he immediately moves to the top lane. He says, like, everybody's at the bottom lane. If I go to the top, then I have the most amount of time to really do some damage there and get one of those keeps down or one of the forts down. And that's what he's aiming for. But first of all, he has to deal with those towers that will give additional experience, of course, too. 13 talent now also on the side of Team Acer, and they are having Ice Block on Malfurion, which is a pretty popular talent these days. There are of course a couple of talents on 13 that you can really go for with him, but if you are in trouble you can simply use Tranquility, then use the Ice Block, and Tranquility will still heal through Ice Block, which is pretty awesome, as long as that fight still stays in the area. We're having also Mega Smash taken on Stitches. Those, I miss those builds. Like, these days, every time I play Stitches, I kind of have to go for the sustain build because I end up being the single healer of my team. But I kind of miss when you with Stitches just had so much damage. So you can still play it, and I guess that Exxon here has quite a lot of fun with that now. But at the same time, our Aragi is getting hooked in once again. And going for the punt! Oh, yeah, well, that NFL is not going to work out for your Aragi, I'm sorry. Oh, Veinless actually dropping out and being back in. Our Aragi, yeah, they go for the cow. There comes the Maw that didn't get hit anything. The Maw of nothing. The Maw of Wayne. Yeah, that didn't do a thing at all. Yeah, Green Out is already here. Oh, our Aragi going in with a face melt, trying to push them away. Jumps away and saves himself for another second, but dies then in the end. Yeah, Vala on the other hand died too, and with Stitches suddenly going down, a Green Out should maybe not have jumped in there. He's trying to hit that Keck again, but he is very much alone here, and Veinless used that Ice Block in the last second. Zamoni actually, with his Dimensional Shift talents, is also able to heal himself up once more, and that is 2 more heroes that just go down there like that, and the stun against Cypher. It's a complete team wipe. A complete team wipe with Zagara going now down as well. 2 kills against a 10, 16, nearly 17 versus 15, and on the 16 talent, we're having not only the dimensional warp taken, but a double imposing presence, executioner talent on Sergeant Hammer, and specialized toxins on Zebo. Standard builds there, and very, very nice play so far by SK. Oh, Holo! Look at Holo! He certainly has some balls. I mean, that guy's moving in against 2. Every time I read Veinless, by the way, for some kind of reason, I don't know why, I read Spineless. And yeah, I'm always thinking like, dude, you need to grow a backbone. But it has nothing to do with this playstyle. It's just like I see that name and something triggers in my head and it doesn't make sense, and I know that too. But every single time is just like the same. It's just like the same thing going on in my head, and I'm weird that way, I guess. My head is a happy place, but you have to be there to understand it. So we're having BZ and Zarmoni currently in the attempt to take the hard camp, the bruiser camp, at the bot lane. And so far it doesn't really look like Acer can do anything about that. I mean, Link and Bakery are already in the vicinity, so even if they would go for that, they would most likely just be trapped in a 2 versus 4, and you don't want to fight that. There we have the shrines taken again. Well, at least the first shrine, I should probably say. But they're already going for the bot lane now and putting pressure onto that. We have still our Ragi waiting there up at the top. He's just like chilling. He's jamming. He is jamming up there at the top. He's sitting in one of those bushes, and now we could see one hero rotate into the mid lane, because that is going to be trapped. He could actually just like jump into the middle with his stage dive and then try to take the Dragon Knight. He should probably do that. He will probably do that. And nope, he does not. He does not. He has a chance there. He has a chance as they're still fighting for the bot lane. No. Nope, nope, nope. Oh, but there he goes in and tries to take down Exor. The face melt. And again, green out. Oh, this time the Maw is actually hitting something. Green out is there. Zamoni and Bakery are trying to pressure him. Maybe a stun from the Uther Ghost? Nope, not just yet. Uther Ghost is dying. It's a 1 more versus 1 in this case. Veinless again. The Icebook actually saved him this time. I have to admit that you don't see Icebook being too useful very often. Jaina's Icebook is a bit different. That's the advanced Icebook, if I'm not mistaken. Well, no Moonfire. No Moonfire. It is a Dragon Knight again. 13 minutes into the game now. And yeah, Zamoni is starting to move in. And well, with this, we could actually just see them go straight for an attempt to drop the first keep. I don't think they're going to be too successful with that, considering that there are 5 heroes against them and a lot of damage dealers as well. But they should be able to drop a couple of towers. Top lane, on the other hand, is being pushed in hard, and it looks very much like they might lose that fort up here. So that's, of course, annoying, and that's one of the reasons why we're seeing Beezing rotating up to the top lane and going straight for this one. At the bottom lane, we're having Exxon, Green Out, Veinless, Acer Holo, and Cypher, aka the team, moving to the bottom lane. That's actually a smart move. Like, you forced your opponent to the top lane with that push that you prepared earlier. And you can take down the fort, but apparently they're really worried about losing more than that and maybe even losing keep, so they all TP back. I think they could have left 1 or 2 heroes just to take down the fort down here, and could have gone more for a trade. Not quite sure if the timing would have worked out, but I guess it would have been worth a try. Here comes the Pulverized talent now, Tenacious Roots, the Brood expansion. Oh, the kick, Zamoni, that NFL contract is still... it's still available. Like, if you keep on kicking like that, if you keep on with the punts, then we might have a job for you. But yeah, 19 and a half versus 17. That advantage that we're seeing for SK Gaming is amazing. They didn't lose a fort yet. They did not lose a fort. No fort, no fort dropped so far. And another Siege Giant camp taken. Oh, ETC. What happened there? Apparently ETC up to the top. Maybe he was just like busy jamming and didn't really see that he was approached by 4 opponents. And yeah, with ETC down, I guess if one of your heroes dies, then you're always happy if it's ETC, or at least if he's caught out, because, well, once he's back, you will be able to stump with Stage Dive wherever you are fighting, in case you are already green out. That lonely panda on the map, and yeah, it doesn't get punished for that, and how so? So we're having Nexus Frenzy taken on Sergeant Hammer, and we're having Rock God taken for ETC, whereas the Annihilating Spirit has been taken for Zebo, the Twilight Archon on Tacita, and the Divine Hurricane is taken for Uther. The thing is that with level 20 we should see very, well, we have with level 20 we're going to have also a very, very strong standing for Acer. We're going to take Nexus Frenzy most likely with that build on Vala with Giant Killer, with Blood for Blood, Battle Momentum, Manticore, and the Siphoning Arrow, I think you have to go for Nexus Frenzy. You're not going to go for Blink there. I mean, yes, there are a couple of heroes that can be dangerous to you, but that should be it. Oh, and there's the Rock God moving in. The hook against Nazebo. Exxon is just barely escaping with a Putrid Bile here. At least he's trying to. Down at the bottom though, BZ is moving back, and the Maw already used. BZ starting to move in again. Exxon getting away there. He's nearly on half health once more. He got healed out and he used his Devour as well. So they are surviving 20 versus 18. But now a lot of the heroic abilities are already in cooldown. The only one that's not next to Napalm is in this case Archon. Twilight Archon is the only one that they have, and well, don't forget that we're having SK in the best of 5 series in the lead. They were able to win the first map, which was also Dragon Shire. So right now we're going again for that move. We're having Bakery taking one of the shrines. The top shrine hasn't been taken yet. We're having the rest of the team moving down to the bottom lane. Of course they want to try and capitalize on that level 20 advantage that they have. There's no Gorge, nothing that can get you over that wall and into that dangerous zone back here between 3 towers and 1 keep. But still, the push is there. Oh, Malfurion laying down the lawn again. And we're having... that Hunter Killer this time doesn't make it. At this time, those thingies are not that scary anymore. Yeah, much more annoying in the early game. They're still annoying in the late game, don't get me wrong. But it's not that bad anymore. Exxon, maybe with a hook. Doesn't have the fishing hook, though. He went for the Stitches slam build. And while talking about Stitches and damage, 38,000 for him, more than Vala. Something's wrong with that picture. And we have Zagara with 46,000. And yeah, the reason that Vala has actually not that much damage is because she didn't go for multi-shot build. So there you have it. It's that right-click damage compared to what multi-shot can do once you go for talents like Arsenal and also the composite arrows. That's extremely important there. So one of the things that you really need to keep in mind when we're talking about Vala damage, she's still being really effective in this game, but it's more that single target damage that matters, and that of course doesn't accumulate to the same amount if you're looking at that. Again, that move down here, we have level 20 nearly for Acer, but it's of course the walls that are starting to break and the keeps that are being exposed slowly and steadily. But SK still has not gotten anything out of it just yet. They are trying to move for another Dragon Knight around 18 minutes in. That might be the tool that they need to drop one of the keeps, but they haven't gotten it yet. And this is going to be level 20 any second. There's even more experience, and they just need 2 more creeps. 2 or 3, but Araragi jumps in with the Rock God! And the Maw being used as Veinless goes into the Ice Block. He makes a beautiful statue. Exxon, Veinless, nah, they're trying to drop them with Annihilating Spirit, but they don't get anything. So the ults are down, 20 is there, as already predicted earlier. We'll see Nexus Frenzy on Vala. I mean, duh, with that build, there was only one choice to go for. Double Hardened Shield, have fun dropping those 2 tanks now. In the mid lane, can they get the Dragon Knights? Acer has both of the shrines, and they're going for the mid lane. Exxon with a hook against Araragi, trying to slow him down, and nope, not in this case. Not even Malfurion going for the root can do anything about that. So, Araragi is moving in again. I'm really curious to see how Vala is going to do with that. Oh my god, like Vala is really going ham. Did you see that right click? Pam, 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 pam. She's a bit like a machine gun. Like, if you go for Rancor and then you go for Nexus Frenzy, oh my god, are you doing work? And especially with the Giant Killer there. It doesn't matter if there's imposing presence or not, that does damage. Link is already down, but both of the healers are down, and now Vala was just like way too far out in the middle of the opponent's team. She is dead as well, and SK is jumping them again. Exxon dies to the storm, and Cypher just barely jumped away, and once again the keg is rolling. The keg is rolling. And yeah, Greenout is just running. And well, the heroes might be half health and not have all that much mana left, but still with Bakery in the back and him using Nexus Frenzy as well, you can of course imagine what that keep has to say about that. 150,000 damage against Siege already. Cypher is there, but he's too late to save that keep. It's just not going to happen. If you have a hammer against you in this scenario, then you're not going to save your structures. But apparently Greenout really wants to know what's going on over here. He's very curious. That Panda is trying to ask Bakery and Araragi what they would like to do right now, but those two didn't like him too much. Every single time that phase melt pushing him away, but the Panda is persistent. Greenout is still drinking, and that's usually the case with drunks, right? I mean, they're super friendly and they're like really, really nice. And then suddenly you're like, oh my god, just leave me alone, dude. And they always want to talk, and that's the same with Chen. Like, look, he's already at it again. He's going straight for the Dragon Knight. Dragon Knight has, of course, by now been taken. They timed it really well so that the rest of the team was about to be back. And that Dragon Knight might be exactly what they need to not only take fort number 2 or keep number 2, but maybe the winning game as well. It's a 5 versus 5, but green out. Uther, that old geezer, is still not there. Like, he's just too old. Yeah, I mean, I'm really sorry for that guy, but like, he needs to step it up a bit. We have Woodchuck Uther even there as well. Araraki with a rock god and the annihilating spirit. And so far, does a lot of... Oh, that stun! That stun! Down goes Veinless. Uther died as well. Like, that old bugger just moved in and then he got dropped right off the bat. Didn't even have a chance to say hello. He just moved into the fight and then he was immediately killed out. But Stitches dies too. Even with that hardened shield, he doesn't stand a chance there. Green out jumps in again. That Panda just doesn't die, does he? He just doesn't know when it's enough. The thing is that with Zamoni dropping out of the Dragon Knight, they won't be able to finish here. They will not be able to finish. And it's a great game from SK. I mean, 2 keeps down, that's awesome. Holo gets away though. And green out, he's nearly at full health again, like the entire time. Like, that Panda is just doing work. It's the Panda of... yeah, I don't know. Panda of Doom, something like that. Yeah, we have like 3 versus 3, the kill count 16 to 7, pretty amazing from SK's perspective, but they have taken no damage to the core of their opponents. Instead, they took 2 of the keeps, which is important, and they're going straight from camp to camp to camp to camp to camp now, grabbing all of the camps, not only to take them and to put more pressure onto Acer, but at the same time what they really like to do is take them away from the opponents so that they don't have an opportunity to take the camps themselves and go for the deep push. So yeah, right now we're having Zamoni, Araragi and BZ in positions. They took the siege camp and, well, a simple push at the bot lane, timed well, could already help them. Green out is still there, like that Panda, I mean, come on. Panda power all day long. It was always awesome when you could play the 7 Panda strategy. You would play in the old days with the old Abathur ult. You would just simply go for Abathur, for Chen, and for Lily, and then you go for the triple Panda split, and you have 7 Pandas on the team. I can tell you, that is a lot of fun. It's so cute, like, so much cuteness, you cannot lose the game anymore. But in this case, there's nothing cute about the Panda. Green out is playing him like a boss, and we're having Zamoni hooked and immediately rushing away. Again, the attempt, they need to make sure that Holo is staying alive, and also Sypho. Here comes again that Keg. And they're just like pushing everybody away. I'm not quite sure what exactly Greenout was trying to aim for with that. Oh, again, the Rock God! And here comes BZ all the way from the back. Bakery pushes Stitches away. Very nice. That was a great move, actually. Oh my god, and that stun. Veinless again in trouble. Using his own heal ult, of course. A good Maw. Well, at least the Maw that trapped 2 of the heroes, but still Stitches is down. SK just has too much damage there. And I love how they create space for Nazeebo. That's so important. You could even see Bakery moving between Stitches and Nazeebo and just like pushing him away and saying like, hey, leave my friend alone, buddy. Leave him alone right now. Leave him alone or you have to deal with me first. Alright, bro? And you could really see that Stitches was immediately intimidated. I mean, who wants to go up against the tank? So Stitches not getting the interrupt against Nazeebo, and that was extremely important. But BZ over here might be in trouble. Well, at least he would have been, if not the rest of the team would have shown up. And suddenly they gang up on Holo. This is basically a gang war that we're seeing right now. If you have trouble with... those are like Italians. If you have a problem with one of them, suddenly the entire family comes running. And that's exactly what just happened as SK saw that Vala was in trouble. They all ganged up on the perpetrator. And immediately Vala taken out. And with Zamoni having another Dragon Knight roughly 25 minutes into the game, I mean, is there any doubt that this game is going to end with another victory for SK in the best of 5 series? Can somebody stop him? I mean, we have Stitches back, but still, Vala isn't there. A lot of the damage is missing. And with 1,000 damage per hit, I mean, just look at this monster doing his thing. It's more than 1,000, nearly 2,000 damage. And this is, of course, game number 2 ending in favor of SK Gaming as well. A 2-0 in the best of 5 series. SK Gaming versus Team Acer.
Strong performance by SK Gaming on map number 2, Dragon Shire. Very well played by them, and that of course puts them in the 2-0 lead in the best of 5 series here at the HCL Playoffs. For Acer, the air is getting pretty thin. It's getting a bit dicey for them right now. They need to win 3 maps in a row if they want to claim the 3rd spot in the HCL League ranking, and that is not going to be easy, not against a team like SK Gaming. So Acer, they need to step it up here. And they also change, of course, the map again. This time we're going into a match on Sky Temple, where Acer is going to try to start their comeback and take a map of SK Gaming, and then of course from there on out win another 2 maps. We're going to jump into game number 3 here at the best of 5 series in the HCL playoffs between SK Gaming and Team Acer on Sky Temple.
Game number 3, it is Sky Temple here at the HCL with SK going up against Team Acer. And SK is currently in the 2-0 lead in the best of 5 series. And well guys, if you suck at math, I'm gonna like lay down the law for you. If SK wins another map, then they have won the bronze match. Yeah, that's actually the case, yes. 2 + 1 = 3. Exactly. So, best of 5, 3 maps, you win, and then, yeah, you win whole thing. So, currently, to the left side, it is for Team Acer. Cypher on Zagara, Vainless is playing Uther, Exxon on ETC, Green out on the Tassada, and Holo on Sergeant Hammer. Aragi to the right side of the map for SK on Stitches, Bakery on Vala, Breezy on Reyna, Linked on Rega, and Zamoni on Tyrande. And the battle in the mid lane is real. They're going straight for it, and Aragi already capturing out the temple here. And well, let's see how this is going to go. Pretty snowbally map if you compare it to Dragon Shire, so it could be a shorter one. If you look at the comps that we're seeing from the 2 teams, it's a very tanky comp. Well, let's just like say they have a lot of support in the comp of Team Acer. We're having finally Rega in the game, the Wolf is back, and what I really personally like is that we're having good old Reyna. Jimmy, my friend, Jimmy is there, the Hyperion just dropped him off, and Jimmy is of course trying to do his thing. But this is going to be a fun game, at least I think. Probably we're going to see Hyperion together with the Starfall taken on the side of the SK. Would be surprised if we don't see it. It's a lot of potential if you're fighting for those temples to just drop both of the Aero E ults and then do your thing. Reyna's Raid is of course another option, also very strong. Tyrande has taken the Pierce talent on level 1, being played by Zamoni here. First temple, always with that little lag that we have there. Well, either way, temples are all going to be activated, and that's of course when usually one of the teams is starting to get just slightly ahead. It's all about the second temple. It's all about the second temple wave up to the bot lane, where one temple is activating, and you want to try and reach level 10 before that happens. Oh, Sypho with another Hydra. And Exxon is there as well. 100% beef, and Exxon is moving in, trying to go for. Did you hear that? Sorry, dude, but my moo is much better than yours. Holo with the pressure, really nice pressure here, by the way, with Holo and Green out against the top lane, pushing that in already. But we have also one temple taken by SK. Aragi is positioned in the mid lane, is going for this one. We're having also down to the bot lane, Zagara still pushing the lane here. I mean, at this point we're having really a lot of pushing potential on the side of Acer, but SK is starting to get a bit of a headway with experience. BZ was soaking the mid lane. At the top we had still Tyrande in position. The only lane where they're missing a hero is or was the bot lane, and they didn't miss out on much because the wave just arrived in the tower range and Bakery is there in time. A bit of is Aragi playing Stitches? Of course he's playing Stitches. You just need me to show the talent build and I know who's playing which hero, because our Aragi is always going for those crazy builds on Stitches where he's trying to go for hybrid build. In this case, I have to admit I don't like that build in particular. He's usually not playing this one, but is more playing a mix of sustain and still damage on 13-16 for slam. In this case, with Chew Your Food and then Putrid Ground, I'm not a fan. I'm really not a fan. On level 7 then usually you get the Venom talent as well, but it's not really a build that I personally think it's very good, but it's definitely a bit different. But sometimes you just want to be a bit different. It's like some people buy shoes that are pink for some reason, or just like, well, I don't know, like yellow. It's not because they don't like black shoes, it's just because everybody has black shoes, and that's nothing against black shoes, but yeah, you know what I mean. Okay, so 7 talents, and that is going to be is it going to be the talent? Come on, show me. that Putrid... No, it's Tenderizer. Now it does make even less sense. Alright, so I don't get that at all anymore. Our Ragi's build, nah, it gets a thumbs down for me. Either way, we're having a level 7 Revolution Overdrive taken, confident aim of course for Reina on level 4. And that build is most likely going to center a lot around the Q and then trying to go for the double penetrating round. Then on level 13 and on level 16 you go for Bullseye, and you can do a lot of damage with Reina, especially in those fights. You can hit a lot of those penetrating rounds if you hit every single one of them. We're having, of course, on their side also one healing ward, the healing totem Arega on level 1. Another thing that happens here is Protective Shield, taken by Tyrande. So if you think about that, that's actually an interesting choice to go for it. There's not all that much area of effect damage that we see on the side of Acer, disregarding the Storm for a second, but just in general, there's a lot of right-click potential with Zagara and Sergeant Hammer there. So apparently the Protective Shield is currently getting prioritized over that. The Temple activating at the bot lane with both of them closing in on level 9. So it actually is not really quite sure if one of those is going to reach level 10 here. It's going to be a very even fight. I like that. We don't see that all that often. Our Ragi gets immediately attacked, and even that Shuya Fu doesn't help him too much. But he gets away, and that's the most important part. The problem for them is that we are still having the entire team of Acer on that Temple platform right now. We have once again the Echo Paddle and the Guitar Hero being used here on ETC. Double Storm Talons on Tacita, and he's using them to control these small areas over here. Sergeant Hammer is helping with that out too. And now they're in a position where they just need to move back, SK that is, and try to soak the lanes because they realize, boys, we're not gonna get in there. We are not going to get into that temple area, and Acer reacts immediately with a rotation on their own, so that is extremely cool. That's pretty smart. But with a 5-man rotation into the mid lane, SK is out for Granite. They want to take down that structure there. Once again, Chew Your Food helping out Stitches. Oh, the level 10 for Acer is much faster. Heroic ability, and our Ragi goes down more into, well, into the void. And ETC going for the jump. I mean, it's really something to just like see that Maw always hit like empty air. That happened like 3 times now in the last 2 games. But still, they take 2 heroes down pretty easily at that. Finally, the level 10 is ready for Team SK Gaming. They have the Hyperion. We're having Starfall taken too. But yeah, that is going to help them out quite a lot. In this case, we're having ETC again with a stage dive. I don't really think that it combos well with the rest of their lineup, but what it certainly does is allow them to go for split push potential. Not really 100% certain if that is going to be enough to make up for the lack of a good mosh pit, but in this case, with a very, very big map being played, they always can jump from one lane to another and just like fight in one of those temples, so it's not really a bad choice. It's just a bit interesting that it doesn't combo with anything. Well, SK is trying to go for the boss, but the rotation of Acer is happening. And are they going to try and take over? Boss is going to be leashed in just a sec, and yeah, it's going to be at 4 HP. So it's the easy camp instead. Going for the easy camp, and well, for now with the 13 talents, now 1 level away from Acer, they still have an even talent for both of them. So for both of the teams. So they're trying to capture Holo out there. Nice stun attempt. Amoni needs to be careful. Exxon is jumping in and goes straight for the... Oh, Hyperion and Starfall being used. Do they get a hook in? Nah, unfortunately for them they don't. But we have at least Hyperion doing a bit of damage against those structures. That Yamato Cannon operational. That good old French guy in his battlecruiser is always dropping the best lines, but in this case we actually can't even listen to him. Doesn't really matter too much though, he does the damage against the structures, and that's the only thing that we really need from him at the end of the day. We have both temples activating now, the bottom temple going of course straight to Acer, at least if they want it, and they go in with ETC, and that is where the talent that he has on level 10 becomes extremely important, since he can just like take the temple, they can fight up at the top, and then if the shit is really hitting the fan, he can just like jump in there with a stage dive and help them out. Oh my god, that dodge, that was not intentional by Cypher. The jukes, Zagara gets it shaken the entire time from the left to the right and shake that booty. And Stitches was so distracted that he couldn't land his hook. ETC is going to jump in any seconds right now. They really want to go for it now. There we go. We're having him jump in. ETC, not just yet. There we go. ETC is on the way. ETC in the house. Oh, and the Muku is being hooked, but gets away. Like, ETC, no problem getting away there. ETC, the Master of Disaster. Level 13 taken there now as well. And so far, I have to say, with 2-level lead, Acer is doing extremely well on this map. So far, SK is just struggling here. I mean, it's only 2 kills against 1, but it's just the structures that you lose. Sky Temple, a very snowbally map, and even with the rotation to the bottom lane with Linked, they're not going to get too much done here. They get a few more shots in, and I guess that could... It's not going to drop the 4, it's just going to drop one of the towers, and that's about it. And we see already Acer pushing at the top lane. Acer is really trying to push the advantage now. With 1 sprint taken, with the Uber Rock start, Roofed Spines, we're having Shrink Ray taken. And in this case, it's also the Giant Killer. Our Ragi, Zamoni, Bakery, Beezy, they're all in the position already. And... oops, that was a little bit weird. We're having them already moving into the mid lane right now, trying to defend here. Acer, Zypho, and Green out. They're both defending against this for now. It's just like the rotations to the left side that block everything, all the waves. At the same time, they're taking one of the hard camps. Both of the teams are doing that. But you can really see that 2-level advantage becoming extremely powerful now, since the level 13 talent is now finally in the hands of Team SK. But the 16 talent is very close for Acer. And if you just maintain that talent lead, you have in all of the fights a massive advantage over your opponent. Unless, of course, you land a good hook. If our Aragi gets one of those hooks in, that would be the only thing that he really needs here. That would actually be really nice. A good hook together with the Zamoni's ult, that would be great. That's one of the reasons, by the way, why I'm really weirded out by that Rhaegar pick. Rhaegar is not a bad hero by any means, but if you hook a target and then lock it down with a stun on Uther and give Zamoni the perfect setup to hit one on the stun as well, then you can do so much with that. And you are basically guaranteed to get a kill once that the hook lands. And with Rhaegar, you just don't have that. You don't have that opportunity. So Rhaegar is great when you want to talk about the healing wall, when you're talking about that burst heal, but he just lacks that potential to combo well with the rest of the heroes. Stitches needs to move away as we see DC moving in, and Bakery gets dropped. Down he goes, the Maw this time hitting home. Araragi is on the run, 2 heroes trapped in the Maw, and Zamoni, I'm not sure if he's gonna get away. Beezy is not though. Beezy is dying, but the ancestral healing against Zamoni helps him at least for now. And yeah, Zamoni and Linked rushing away there. It is 4 kills against 1, and with now level 16 versus 14 and 2 temples activating, yes. What can you do when you're Team SK? Very little. Green out is going to claim the mid temple, or at least he should, and the top temple is going to be taken as well. Apparently they're going to try and jump in to even drop another target before the phase happens, and yeah, they are already detected. Can they isolate someone with a power slide? Power slide and face melt? No. Nope, no, doesn't work here. They don't get that. So they're just moving back. They have the temple already in the mid lane, activated by Green out. Linked is starting to move in there. At the top it is Holo on Sergeant Hammer, trying to claim one. And it's just like rotations on the map right now. Interesting. By the way, Giant Killer being used on Reyna, not going for the double penetrating round. I'm surprised, I have to admit. Especially since they only have ETC as a tag there, I would have expected them to go for the double penetrating round. No idea why they didn't go for that. That is usually a great talent to take here. Exxon is claiming the mid temple now with the rest of his team. The top is completely neglected by both of them, but it's the pressure against the keep. The keep in the mid lane is now being attacked by the temple here, and the shots, the ammunition is nearly gone, so that's going to be tricky. Up at the top we're having currently Linked and BZ starting to just like rotate back a bit and take the creeps instead, go for the minions. They know already that they cannot claim that temple. They don't have a chance of doing that because, well, they realize that any second there might the rest of the team just appear. It could be a rotation towards the boss and an attempt to take that. That might be something that they can pull off here. ETC is still there, but it's still going to take quite some time for the rest of the team to come over. They should be able to sneak that. They should be able to sneak the boss, and that might be the potential of a comeback. The rest of the team is not going to be there. Only Exxon is in position, and he cannot possibly stun that out. Oh, it's close! It's close! Oh, the boss is still there! They don't have it, but here comes where's the Starfall. Starfall is there, and we have Hyperion being used. This is the potential kill for them. They take one down. Cypher is down, but the Rhaegar is also dead, and down goes ETC. Our Ragi is about to die too, though, but they're still getting the kill against Uther and against Tassadar. And the only one escaping is Holo, the boss claimed by them now as well, and that might be the potential for a comeback finally on the hands on SK. You're having them with a double blood for blood, Berserk taken on Reyna, and we're seeing of course the Ranger talent for Tyrande, who went for that standard build that we're seeing these days. Very well played by them so far, and that's a lot of shots also available on that top temple that will drop one of the towers. Probably not the fort yet, but they could move in and take that too. Over here, the boss, well, Holo, of course, in siege mode is doing the extra damage against minions, against the mercenary, not really doing all that much here, but still he's able to kill out the boss, and that's all that he needed to do. But at least it relieves some pressure from SK, and it puts SK in a spot where they can suddenly start to do some damage here and close the gap in experience at least a bit. I mean, they're not able to really turn it around completely, but that boss attempt that we saw there, that was an extremely important one. 5 kills against 6, that's what we're seeing right now, and with the fishing hook talent, Aragi has a much better chance of landing one of those long distance hooks now. We're also seeing Bakery with the Blood for Blood talent as well as Raygun with double Blood for Blood. You can really put a few of those heroes into a lot of trouble. 16 talent, Holy Shock is being used here. Yeah. Holy Shock, pretty nice if you want to have the additional DPS there. I don't see that all that often. Oh, another attempt to steal one of the camps away, and they get it. They got the camp, and ETC jumps in! Oh my god, the Maw against 2, once again successful, but the Ancestral Healing is hitting. Aragi runs away. A Breeze is dead. ETC, though, is dying now too. The hook against Green out. They're still trying to get him here. But they're... Oh, they're stunned. Nice. Zamoni with a perfect stun. That was what they needed. Oh, but our Aragi is getting so low here. It's still 3 heroes that they kill. And suddenly, just like that, SK is back. SK is back on track. They took one of the forts down. They could take another one. There's another 30 seconds now on the death timer. And they're kind of low, but we have Link with a lot of mana still. Maybe even the hook. Ooh! Close. Very close. But not successful. At least not just yet. Link needs the mana. Link, he needs his heals. He needs maybe even the healing ward. But he is... Oh, actually, in 4 seconds, he's going to have another healing totem. But they're still not pushing that. Has a healing totem available once more. They could move into the middle. That experience lead is nearly gone that we saw for Acer. And we still have a keep at half health at the top, in the mid lane. There's also one. We have one at the bot lane. So there's no keep taken out yet. No keep lost. And therefore, SK is still in a great spot here. SK is doing very, very well now. And they've been struggling for a long time in this game, but suddenly they are back on track and they might be able to win one of those fights. They're playing on even levels with their opponent, or will in just a second. BTC is moving in, eats one of those owls immediately. Ah, chicken! That game makes me hungry, like ETC riding on a pig, then the owl moving in. Oh, nice attempt to drop Holo. Good stun. Good hook at least from Aragi. Gets healed in the last second. Oh, there is also the healing ward. We're having already Hyperion used. Aragi just barely gets dropped here. But we also see Tassadar die. Tassadar died as well. And Exxon that stuns Zamoni. Zamoni with those stuns every single time, like he's the savior of SK Gaming right now. Link is trying to maybe drop one of the heroes over here, but BZ is so low that he needs to rush away, and Zamoni is not in a better spot here by any means. Level 20 is probably going to hit sooner for SK Gaming than it does for Team Acer, and they are starting to put the pressure onto the mid lane now with the gate dying and the tower being attacked. That is going to be, or it should be, level 20. If they drop just like one of the waves over here, get maybe the second one there as well, it should be level 20 for them. And then we're going to see a lot of additional damage. BZ most likely not even going for the blink turn, but in this case he could just simply go for Nexus Frenzy on his Sergeant, on his Reyna. That is pretty damn good. It's a great talent to have. Blink on Vala, and I would say, if I was BZ, I would go for Nexus Frenzy. I mean, he has the additional range then so far. He's been able to keep himself alive. Not perfectly, but of course you get more safety if you go for Blink, but still that extra damage could really help them out. And he is indecisive. He doesn't know which one of the two he should take here. We're having, and there it is, Nexus Frenzy taken. We're having also, of course, the Hardened Shield on Stitches, and Acer isn't even on 20. Acer is not on 20 yet. They can't fight here. And that's why they cannot contest that Siege Giant camp that is being taken by SK Gaming. SK Gaming is moving in for that. The boss is also there. They could sneak the boss real quick. As long as there's level 20, it's a very, very, very small window, but at this point, you need to get their wave first. They know that there is a hero up at the top lane, so they have all the time in the world. They take the boss, and that is trouble. That's trouble for Acer. Acer was in the lead the entire game. They were 2 levels ahead. They had 16 when the opponent was still looking at 14. And right now, we're having them moving in with the boss, not only on eye level, but SK is actually ahead in experience. They're going for another attempt to drop the hook here. Oh, that hook. That's a free line. And they're getting Tessita! Ah, nice. The cleanse in the last second. Actually, not the cleanse. Actually, did he cleanse? I'm not sure if he is trying to. Yes, he cleansed. He cleansed that. I know he used clairvoyant. Sorry. He doesn't even have cleanse. My bad. Sorry. No cleanse for him. Instead, it was just the dimensional shift that activated there. Yeah, but that boss, you can see how the keep is already starting to drop extremely low, and 2 temples are available. And now with the keep gone, they can just like move back while the boss is still doing his thing. Our Aragi missing the hook here, hitting the tower, I think. And they can just simply go for the next 2 shrines. In the mid lane, there's very little left that the tower ammunition or the temple ammunition could drop, so it's going to go straight to the keep. At the top, it's a bit of a different picture, but still. Bot lane, that's where we're seeing Bakery right now. They know exactly which temple to rotate to, since they know that these shots are going to hit the mid lane, and there is the attack against the keep, and this is going to drop it. This is going to drop the keep. Of course, we are going to see Acer doing the exact same thing, and that will drop the top keep here on the side of SK Gaming, but still it will be 1 keep against 2. And that's a great position to be in. SK is looking at the talent lead there as well. This is going to be fun for them. On level 20 now we have a double Bolt of the Storm for ETC and Zagara, and we're seeing also the Twilight Archon, but not only that, it's more about the Divine Hurricane and of course Nexus Frenzy. I mean, no question. What are you going to get on level 20 on the Sergeant? Some people still go for the Advanced Lava Strike, which isn't a bad talent by any means. But Nexus Frenzy is just such a boss talent. And Zamoni, I mean, what a great game. These stuns that he had, they were amazing. And he is top damage in his team. He's the top dog here. 37, nearly 38,000 damage for him. Has played very, very well there. And even Vala is behind him. And Vala went for a multi-shot build. And Zamoni is still out DPSing Vala. Great player, and amazing stuns that we saw. Those Lunar Flares, they definitely won a lot of the fights for his team. 47,000 damage on the other hand on Sergeant Hammer. Rotation up to the top, level 21 for the 2 of them, for both of the teams. Yeah, the Owl already showing vision. And Cypher could drop a couple of roaches on the top there. But of course he doesn't want to get in a position where Stitches could hook him, and Araragi is going to try to get that hook. He's going to try and land it. He is definitely going to try and land it. Yeah, okay, so we're having Araragi in position for another potential hook. Just one of those blind hooks to intimidate the opponent a bit. But they take the hard camp, and with that they're trying to drop the last keep. And once the last keep is gone, a single temple is going to win the game for them. Once the hard camp, once those structures are gone, temples are going to be key. The Maw hitting one, Vaneless rushing in, trying to go for the stun, gets the stun, here comes Hyperion, and Vaneless is down. Vaneless is already down, and suddenly Acer is in trouble. Acer is getting wrecked. Holo drop, Screen out is just trying to get away somehow, slowed by Bakery. 3 heroes down, they don't need a temple. What do you need a temple for when you have direct access to the core and you can finish the game right here? SK Gaming is 2-0 in the best of 5 series against Acer, and with only 2 heroes alive, there's no doubt this game is going to end here. This is going to be victory once again for SK Gaming. They win the bronze match at the HCL against Team Acer with a 3-0 without dropping a map. They take down their opponent in this best of 3 series. Congratulations to SK Gaming, really well played here today.
Wow, SK Gaming takes it with a flawless victory against Acer. They win 3 maps in a row and take the series without dropping a single one. Very impressive performance by them. Acer today not in a position where it could threaten SK Gaming. So it is SK Gaming that wins the 3rd spot here. Acer still with a respectable 4th spot in the league ranking. So very well done by them as well. But of course today the victory belongs to SK, and yeah, congratulations. Guys, if you liked the video, if you liked the commentary, then make sure to give the video a thumbs up on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done that yet. And of course, if you have any questions, just write them down in the comment sections and I will answer you if I can. Thank you very much for tuning in today. I hope that you guys enjoy the rest of your evening, and see you next time here on Khaldor TV with more Heroes of the Storm.